witchcraft. You have bowed to the systems of the world. You have bowed. Any of you who are going to Beyonce's concert, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. How dare you call yourself a Christian? I don't care what pastor you got that is okay with it. I don't care what pastor you got that think it's cool. I don't care what pastor you got that's singing along to their song. Why you think that man called himself Jehovah? It was short for Jehovah.
You think you know Beyoncé, but what if I told you some people believe she's not just performing, but actually practicing witchcraft? Her ex-drummer is claiming she's controlling phones, finances, and even lives around her. And it's not just rumors. There's a legal battle, restraining orders, and the internet is going wild. From her alter ego Sasha Fierce to the spiritual symbolism in her shows, every move she makes sparks conspiracy, fascination, and even fear. In this video, we're diving deep into the hidden stories, the myths, and the reality behind one of the world's biggest stars. And trust me, you've never seen Beyoncé like this before. In the world of celebrity culture, rumors and public fascination often collide, especially when spirituality, symbolism, or artistic rivalry is involved. Recent discussions around figures like Beyoncé and Erykah Badu illustrate how creative disagreements, such as overlapping fashion choices or performance aesthetics, can spiral into sensational speculation about hidden powers or mystical influence. Both artists draw on spiritual imagery and cultural symbolism in ways that captivate audiences, but these choices can be misinterpreted or exaggerated by fans and critics alike. This phenomenon highlights not only the blurred line between artistry and perception, but also the broader dynamics of fame, storytelling, and social media, where narratives can quickly transform from creative critique into dramatic controversy.
Beyonce's ex-drummer of 7 years, she is seeking a restraining order against Beyoncé. She's accusing her of dark magic, witchcraft, tapping into her phone bill, and basically controlling her finances, She's saying the Beyoncé camp is put up a huge harassment campaign against her, and it's overall witchcraft. She sought a restraining order in the past. It got denied, and she has another one scheduled for October 11th, but the internet is just like, what? Excuse me? And, you know, I was just at the Beyoncé concert last week in Houston. It was definitely a religious experience.
In the entertainment industry, fame often comes with a shadow side, rumors, speculation, and public scrutiny. Stories surrounding artists like Beyoncé, Solange, and others have shown how quickly creative expression can be misread through the lens of conspiracy or mysticism. When personal grievances, artistic rivalries, or spiritual symbolism enter the mix, the internet often transforms them into sensational narratives that blur fact and fiction. Many musicians draw on cultural and spiritual imagery as part of their artistry, but the public's fascination with the idea of hidden power or dark forces in Hollywood can lead to exaggerated tales that overshadow real talent and hard work. These moments reveal more about how society interprets success and influence than about the artists themselves, reminding us to separate artistic mythology from reality and approach celebrity narratives with a critical, compassionate eye. The myth-making that surrounds global superstars often says as much about society's imagination as it does about the artists themselves. When fame reaches a certain height, it can spark rumors that blend admiration with fear, turning creative symbolism into alleged secret power. Some fans and commentators interpret artists' use of spiritual or cultural imagery, especially from African or mystical traditions, as evidence of hidden rituals or supernatural influence. Yet, such interpretations often reflect misunderstanding rather than truth, illustrating how quickly success can be reframed as something eerie or otherworldly. The fascination with dark sides of fame shows how people project their own anxieties and beliefs onto public figures, creating narratives that blur the line between art, faith, and myth. Ultimately, these stories reveal less about celebrities and more about the cultural hunger for mystery in a world that constantly demands explanations for extraordinary talent and achievement. When fame reaches mythic proportions, even the most carefully crafted artistic expressions can be misunderstood, misinterpreted, or twisted into something mysterious, or even sinister. This is particularly true for global superstars whose every move is scrutinized by millions. Take, for instance, Beyoncé's introduction of her stage persona Sasha Fierce years ago, a bold, fearless side of herself that emerges during performances. The concept of an alter ego is not new. Artists across generations, from David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust to Nicki Minaj's Roman Zolanski, have used alternative personas to explore parts of themselves that might not otherwise have an outlet in public. Alter egos allow performers to separate the private self from the public image, to experiment with confidence, aggression, sensuality, or theatricality in ways that might feel impossible in their everyday lives. They are artistic tools, psychological devices, and forms of creative storytelling all at once. Yet in the age of social media, these carefully constructed artistic choices rarely remain purely artistic. The internet has a way of taking imaginative ideas and amplifying them into narratives far beyond their creators' intentions. Beyoncé's Sasha Fierce became more than just a stage persona. It evolved into a subject of intense fascination, speculation, and myth-making. Fans, bloggers, and commentators began analyzing her every performance, lyric, and public appearance, searching for hidden meanings or evidence of supernatural influence. In online spaces, where rumors spread faster than verified facts, the boundaries between creative expression, symbolism, and superstition often become blurred. What starts as a playful or theatrical artistic choice can quickly be reinterpreted as evidence of possession, secret rituals, or hidden power, creating a complex web of myth around an artist's public identity. This process is illustrative of a broader phenomenon in celebrity culture: the way audiences project their curiosity, fears, and imaginations onto public figures. Humans have long been fascinated with the idea that extraordinary talent, beauty, or success must be accompanied by hidden forces or secret knowledge. In ancient folklore, heroes and rulers were often thought to possess magical powers or divine favor. In contemporary celebrity culture, the same impulse manifests in rumors, conspiracy theories, and elaborate fan speculation. Social media has only accelerated this process, giving anyone with an internet connection the ability to craft, amplify, and spread narratives that transform stagecraft into supposed reality. Moreover, this fascination with alter egos and spiritual symbolism underscores the tension between perception and reality. Beyoncé's artistic choice to embody Sasha Fierce is intended to enhance performance, not to reveal hidden spiritual practices. But in a world where online speculation thrives, the distinction between metaphor and fact often disappears. Every costume, every gesture, every lyric is dissected, interpreted, and sometimes sensationalized. The persona becomes a canvas onto which audiences project their desires and fears, creating a mythology that exists almost entirely separate from the artist's lived experience. This dynamic is not limited to Beyoncé. Any high-profile performer who experiments with identity, symbolism, or theatricality can find their artistry reframed as evidence of something supernatural or transgressive. In addition, the internet's amplification of celebrity myth-making highlights the social and psychological dimensions of fandom. People are drawn to stories of hidden power, secret lives, and dramatic dualities because they create narratives that feel larger than life. A stage persona, once purely a tool for artistic exploration, becomes a symbol of transformation, mystery, and intrigue. Fans debate, theorize, and even investigate these alter egos, sometimes creating entire communities centered around speculation and analysis. While this engagement can be entertaining and even celebratory, it can also generate pressure, misrepresentation, and misunderstanding for the artists themselves. Suddenly, an artistic decision is no longer just performance. It is interpreted as a reflection of morality, belief, or hidden intent. The phenomenon also reveals how easily creative storytelling can be transformed into sensational mythology in the digital era. In the pre-internet age, alter egos and theatrical personas were largely confined to the stage, the album, or interviews. Today, every public appearance, social media post, and viral moment can be scrutinized endlessly, dissected for hidden meanings, and shared with millions of people in an instant. This amplification can create a feedback loop in which speculation breeds more speculation, and symbolism becomes rumor. As a result, the narrative around an artist like Beyoncé becomes something more than performance. It becomes cultural mythology, a story that audiences collectively tell about fame, power, and identity. Importantly, this phenomenon underscores a broader cultural tension: the public's simultaneous fascination with and mistrust of celebrity. On one hand, fans celebrate artistry, innovation, and charisma. On the other, they search for signs of secret knowledge, hidden power, or moral ambiguity. Alter egos, spiritual references, and theatrical personas become ripe for interpretation precisely because they sit at the intersection of imagination, symbolism, and reality. Social media accelerates these interpretations, turning symbolic expression into viral content, and occasionally blurring the line between commentary and accusation. In this environment, artistic experimentation is no longer confined to the stage. It becomes fodder for mythology, gossip, and cultural debate. Ultimately, the story of Beyoncé and Sasha Fierce illustrates how fame, artistry, and mythology intersect in the digital age. Alter egos serve a practical and creative purpose for performers, allowing them to inhabit different facets of themselves and engage audiences in dynamic ways. But in the court of public opinion, these personas can take on a life of their own, transformed by speculation, imagination, and the hunger for drama. The result is a fascinating, if sometimes distorted, reflection of modern culture, where performance, identity, and imagination merge into narratives far removed from reality. These narratives reveal as much about society's fascination with talent, power, and mystique as they do about the artists themselves, highlighting the delicate balance between artistic freedom and the interpretive lens of the public. Public reactions to pop icons often reveal deeper cultural divides about faith, fame, and influence. When musicians reach global status, their art, symbols, and even their fan communities can be interpreted through many different lenses. For some, stage names, choreography, or imagery are seen as powerful expressions of creativity. For others, they become controversial or spiritually charged. Religious leaders and online commentators occasionally frame these performances as moral or spiritual battlegrounds, sparking passionate debates about what it means to mix sacred and secular worlds. Yet these controversies often say less about the artists themselves and more about society's ongoing struggle to reconcile popular culture with personal belief. In the end, the conversation reflects how music, religion, and identity intertwine, and how easily artistic symbolism can be misunderstood in an age of viral narratives. The intersection of celebrity, spirituality, and public opinion has become a fascinating mirror of modern culture, reflecting not only society's obsessions with fame but also its complex relationship with belief, morality, and identity. In today's digital age, the lives of global superstars are never private, and their artistic choices are endlessly scrutinized, analyzed, and interpreted by fans, critics, and commentators alike. When artists like Beyoncé or Erykah Badu enter conversations about mysticism, ritual, or spirituality, the dialogue often illuminates as much about the observers as it does about the performers themselves. Admiration for their talent can quickly morph into speculation about their personal beliefs, motivations, or intentions, and the line between genuine curiosity and sensational rumor becomes increasingly blurry. Social media plays a central role in this dynamic, functioning as both a platform for fan engagement and a conduit for rumor amplification. On one hand, it allows audiences to explore and celebrate the symbolism embedded in an artist's work, whether it's the use of cultural imagery, lyrical references, or theatrical stage personas. On the other hand, the same platforms accelerate speculation, giving fringe theories, conspiracy-minded interpretations, and exaggerated claims a platform alongside legitimate commentary. In this environment, spiritual or mystical elements of a performer's image can be recast as evidence of secret powers, occult affiliations, or otherworldly influence, turning art into a form of modern myth-making. A stage persona that is meant to embody confidence or theatrical flair can be misinterpreted as evidence of possession or ritualistic practice, illustrating the gap between artistic intention and public perception. This phenomenon highlights the broader cultural tendency to conflate fame with moral or spiritual significance. Historically, society has long been fascinated with the idea that great power, whether political, artistic, or financial, must come at a cost, often imagined as hidden or supernatural. In the context of celebrity culture, fans and commentators sometimes project these narratives onto public figures, creating modern folklore in real time. When an artist incorporates spiritual themes into their music, fashion, or performances, audiences can interpret it in wildly different ways, depending on their own beliefs, biases, and cultural assumptions. In extreme cases, these interpretations transform into moral panic, sparking debates about what is acceptable in the public eye and whether artistic expression can be separated from personal conduct. One striking aspect of this discourse is how it illustrates the human tendency to personify abstract concepts like success, influence, and creativity. Celebrities are often elevated to symbolic or even mythic status, where their actions are seen as emblematic of larger forces at play in the world. The fascination with mysticism and spirituality in celebrity culture is therefore not solely about the individuals themselves, but about what they represent: ambition, talent, and the allure of the extraordinary. In a sense, The public's eagerness to attach spiritual narratives to performers is a reflection of society's own desire to understand and narrativize the mysterious ways in which influence and achievement manifest. These discussions function as modern morality tales, in which the cost of fame is imagined, debated, and dramatized. Yet while the conversation around celebrity and spirituality can be rich and engaging, it also reveals the dangers of conflating speculation with fact. Artistic symbolism, whether in music videos, stage performances, or visual branding, is intended to communicate themes, emotions, and stories, not necessarily to reveal the inner workings of an artist's private life. When social media and gossip culture recast these creative choices as proof of supernatural activity, ritual behavior, or secret affiliations, it can lead to the spread of misinformation and misrepresentation. This dynamic can be harmful not only to the artists themselves but also to public discourse, as it encourages audiences to value sensational narratives over nuance, critical thinking, and respect for artistic intention. Moreover, these discussions expose a fascinating tension between authenticity and perception, one that permeates not only the world of performance but also broader cultural understandings of identity. In many ways, the tension arises from the gap between who a person is and how they are interpreted by others, a gap that becomes especially pronounced for performers, whose work often requires them to inhabit multiple layers of self-representation. Many performers intentionally create personas, characters, or alter egos as part of their artistry, a practice that has existed for centuries across theater, literature, and music. From the masked figures of classical theater to the literary inventions of pseudonymous writers, and from the stage names of musicians to the crafted public images of contemporary celebrities, these constructs serve as deliberate tools of expression. Alter egos, for instance, allow performers to explore dimensions of themselves that they might not feel comfortable expressing in their everyday lives, whether that means embodying confidence, rebellion, or theatricality. They can act as safe spaces for experimentation, enabling artists to push boundaries, challenge social norms, or confront personal fears without exposing their private selves to direct judgment. However, this layering of identity also introduces complications. When audiences encounter these artistic constructs, they may respond as if the persona is equivalent to the individual, interpreting performance as biography. This tendency can lead to misunderstandings, misreadings, and even moral judgments that have little to do with the performer's actual character or intentions. When these artistic constructs are interpreted literally, audiences risk projecting false narratives onto real people, transforming symbolic expression into supposed evidence of hidden lives or secret practices. In some cases, this misalignment between performance and perception can generate persistent myths or scandals, where the persona overshadows the person entirely. The phenomenon illustrates a fundamental challenge in consuming art: the need to distinguish between the metaphorical and the literal, the staged and the lived, and the imagined and the real. The implications extend beyond the stage or page. This tension underscores the difficulty of maintaining privacy and agency in an era where everything a public figure does is subject to scrutiny, interpretation, and amplification. Social media, instantaneous reporting, and fan culture intensify the stakes, collapsing the distance between audience and performer and making every gesture potentially symbolic, every statement potentially canonical. In such a climate, the creation of a persona becomes simultaneously liberating and risky. It allows self-expression in a controlled framework, yet it exposes the performer to misinterpretation, projection, or commodification. Ultimately, this dynamic reflects broader cultural questions about identity itself: how much of who we are is constructed, performed, or perceived, and how do we navigate the interplay between our private selves and the roles we inhabit in public spaces? By examining the nuanced interplay between authenticity and perception, we gain insight not only into the artistry of performance but also into the complexities of modern human identity, perception, and social judgment. Ultimately, the fascination with celebrity mysticism says as much about contemporary culture as it does about the artists themselves. These viral conversations are fueled by the public's appetite for drama, intrigue, and spectacle, reflecting a desire to make sense of extraordinary talent through familiar narrative frameworks. In many ways, the discourse functions as a cultural mirror, showing how society negotiates power, fame, and morality, and how we project our own fears and curiosities onto those who occupy positions of influence. While the stories may be sensationalized, they provide insight into our collective imagination, revealing the ongoing interplay between identity, belief, and cultural mythology in the modern age. In conclusion, discussions about celebrity, spirituality, and public perception reveal a complex ecosystem in which artistry, fandom, and speculation intersect. Admiration for performers like Beyoncé and Erykah Badu can easily tip into myth-making, as audiences navigate the space between symbolism, reality, and rumor. Social media accelerates this process, amplifying interpretations and fostering a culture in which curiosity and sensationalism coexist. By examining these dynamics thoughtfully, we can better understand not only the challenges faced by high-profile artists but also the ways in which modern culture constructs meaning, significance, and intrigue around fame. Far from being merely about the celebrities themselves, these conversations illuminate broader societal values, anxieties, and imaginative impulses, offering a lens through which to explore how we perceive power, creativity, and identity in the 21st century.